This is the Secure Family Podcast. Welcome, friend. I'm Andy Murphy. This show is all about empowering parents to protect themselves and their family. I believe that security is the foundation of happiness, and I want your family to be safe and happy. If that sounds like something that resonates with you, subscribe to the show, because there is always something new to talk about. The information that I share on this podcast is for general information purposes only. My goal is to empower you to make safer decisions for yourself and your family, because our safety is our own responsibility. Today I'm going to share some safety tips, but also some parenting ideas that we all need to consider this year. We need to look at our responsibility to raise the next generation. All of that and more coming up on the Secure Family Podcast. Welcome to 2026. I want this to be the best year that you can have. A lot of us are making resolutions to get serious when it comes to exercise, what we need to eat, or giving up a bad habit. I think 2026 needs to be the year you get serious about your digital life. If you're starting a clean slate this year, your online footprint needs to be a part of that. In this new year, I predict that your privacy will erode even further, data brokers will get bigger, and social media companies will continue to profit from scam ads. No one is going to advocate for us. Selling our data is just too profitable. This needs to be the year you put your foot down and refuse to have your life, your data, and your family's data bought and sold. One of the best things that you can do is let Delete Me go to work for you. They'll remove your data from hundreds of data broker sites, so you'll get some of your privacy back. Go to joindeleteme.com/dad and use promo code DAD to get 20% off your Delete Me plan. Delete Me is a sponsor of the Secure Family Podcast. So today, I want to share with you some of my thoughts about parenting in 2026, and I want to encourage you. And by the way, before we even get started, I want to remind you I'm not perfect. I don't get things right a lot, and I don't think that I'm a better parent than anybody who is listening right now. But I do want to share with you 3 different areas that we need to put some consideration in this new year, and that's going to be technology, emotional resilience, and boundaries. Now, nothing that I'm about to tell you should be rigorously followed exactly as I say it, because every family is different. Every parent is different. Our communication styles are different, and that's what makes our families wonderful. But I do want to share some practical, realistic, let's do this together thoughts. First, let's start with screens. Whether we like it or not, technology is a big part of our kids' lives. It's part of school. It's part of their friendships. It's part of how they relax. And especially for teens, it's part of how they socialize. Most of us did not have this growing up. Our first foray into digital friendships was AOL Messenger. And it was a simpler time back then. The goal in 2026 is not to eliminate technology. The goal is to teach intentional use of technology, how to use AI responsibly, and how to create strong digital ethics. In our house, we've had a couple of bumps in this road along the way. It's really easy to let screens slowly take over more and more space in your house if you're not paying attention, and honestly, that's just me. No, for real, I find myself glued to my phone a lot, and I really don't like it. I don't like the consequences of being in my phone so much. Ben from Family IT Guy talked to me about this when he was on the show, and he was like, don't beat yourself up about that, because social media, the news, and our devices are made to capture our attention and our dollars. So how much harder is it for our kids? One of the best things that we ever did was create a few simple rules for how devices were going to be used in our house. First off, no phones at the dinner table, even for the adults. No screens in bedrooms or bathrooms, period. And using a safe kid smartphone or parental controls for all the devices that you have. What we're really trying to do is build a family culture where screens are a tool, not the center of life. And here's the part that's uncomfortable. Our kids don't learn healthy tech habits from just the rules by themselves. They learn them from us. If we're always on our phones, they notice. If we're half listening while scrolling, they notice. If we tell them to put their phones down, but we never put ours down, they notice that too. I bet you've had these conversations in your house. So we have to set a good example of what responsible screen time looks like. And another big part of this is privacy and trust, especially with teens. I think it's okay for you to follow your kids online, and I think it's okay to supervise them. I don't think it's okay or healthy to secretly spy unless you have a real reason to be concerned about their safety. The long-term goal is not to control every click. The long-term goal is to teach them how to manage their own digital life wisely. So from the get-go, tell your kids that their phone, tablet, gaming system, whatever it is subject to your authority. You are responsible for how the internet is used in your home, and you need to be the one that monitors everything. That way they know upfront that you'll monitor their browsing habits, and if it comes down to it, you will search their devices, even though that's not really what you want to have to do. And more families are starting to delay smartphones and social media, not forever, just a little later. And honestly, I think that's a really healthy trend. Now let's switch gears a little bit, and we have to worry about AI in 2026 in a lot of different ways, honestly. I know that over the last year or so, a lot of my content around family safety has centered around screens, the internet, and AI. But we have been witnessing the rise of a new way that our families, mainly our children, can be exploited. I did a show a while back about kidnapping, and the old wisdom was not to let your kid go to the park alone because a white van could pull up and snatch them off the street. Well, that dynamic has changed. Now you have to worry about kids developing a relationship with a predator online, and then that predator is going to set up a meeting, and they're going to go to a location, and your child is going to get into that white van because they think that's the best thing for them. The shift in digital life has changed how we need to protect our families. And now we have AI that can do all this great stuff, but we also have to see it as a tool for scammers, predators, and even adversarial nation states. We do need to be concerned that AI is going to be used to distort real news. Then AI is also going to be used by scammers, and AI is going to create fake videos and pictures of celebrities and even people that they know. And to top it all off, X's AI Grok will put people in bikinis in near real time in everybody's feed. People went nuts telling Grok to change people out of their clothes and put them into micro bikinis. Now, AI altering people's clothing is not new, but for a while, any troll could find a picture of a person and ask Grok to put them in a revealing outfit, and it would be a public reply to the original post. This was not done in secret on like a Reddit group or a Discord server. It was on X and open for anyone to do. This is a big red flag for the future of AI and social media. Thankfully, there was enough instant backlash to get all of these Grok props to be put behind a paywall, which is their little verification in the blue check. But honestly, the issue still exists. I use X because it's a holdover from Twitter, when I could get news quickly from my local news stations, national events, and even sports scores. But what Grok is doing to its users now is unacceptable. We're going to have continuous conversations with our kids about what AI is good for and how it can be used in a bad way. Show your kids the news stories that you see about how AI is hurting people with fake images and videos. Let them know how AI is being used to distort the real news. Tell them that it's not okay to engage in that kind of behavior, even if it's for a joke. When AI is used for good, it's a wonderful tool, but people are misusing it, and our kids need to be aware of how to spot that content and not to generate it, even if it's for a prank. And this kind of transitions to my next point of emotional strength and acceptance for who they are. Our kids are growing up in a world of constant comparison, constant noise, and constant social pressure. So resilience is not optional anymore. It's a life skill in 2026. One of the biggest shifts that I had to make as a parent was realizing that my job is not to remove every hard thing from my kid's life, even though I really want to. I want them to be happy all the time. I want to fix all the problems. But that's not what I should be doing as a parent. Now, I told the story years ago on this podcast of when my son was at a playground at around age 4. We were at the park, and he was playing on this big jungle gym. Now, there was a platform about 3 feet in the air, and then there were these stepping pads that kind of went down to the ground like stairs. I was within arm's reach as he stepped out, and then he became unstable. He made a few of the stepping pads, but towards the bottom, he got real unstable, and he fell off. He landed on the soft crush and run padding, and I was right there to help him. I had made this lightning-fast calculation to let my son fall. Now that sounds bad, doesn't it? Many parents would condemn me for letting my son tumble a foot to the ground without stepping in. Sure, I could have stepped in and grabbed him, but that would have kept him from fear and consequence, and life does not reward that. After he was over the fall and the initial fright, he got right back up on that platform and then flawlessly ran down the stepping pads to the ground. He took off running to another spot. Lesson learned, resilience gained. And of course, if there were real danger of hurting himself, I would have jumped in immediately. My job is to help him learn how to handle hard things, and that doesn't mean I keep him from falling. It means I help him get up. That sounds simple, but it's so powerful for our children, and it continues as they grow, letting them struggle sometimes. Let them forget an assignment at school. Let them deal with the consequence of procrastination. Let them work through a conflict with a friend. We want confident kids, but confidence doesn't come from being protected from everything. They need life's learning opportunities. We can't steal that from them. This year is going to have plenty of those moments, so let them come and watch how your child responds. Their confidence comes from learning, I can handle hard things. One thing that we need to try to remember in 2026 is we're not raising kids. We're raising adults. Here's something that kids don't say out loud, but they absolutely need. Structure makes them feel safe. Boundaries are not mean. Boundaries are loving. And on some level, our kids understand that. Rules create predictability. Predictability creates security. And as I often say, security is the foundation of happiness. But the goal is not to keep them dependent forever. I know as mom and dad, we want our kids to stay little, take afternoon naps, but our hearts have to grow with theirs. We need them to be good people to go out on their own and make the world a better place. And they can't do that unless we raise them and we point them in the right direction. The goal is to slowly, intentionally give them more responsibility, more choices, more ownership, more problem solving, more opportunities to learn from failure, more chances to discover what they're passionate about, more real world experience. That's how you build capable humans. And I love that there's a trend right now towards a more analog life again. I'm talking about board games, house phones, puzzles, and classic video games that don't go on endlessly like the ones we have now. If your kids get bored, that's great. One of the best perspectives I heard about this was from Scott Novus, who was a video game engineer. And as much as he appreciates gaming, he was so passionate to remind parents that time away from screens is important to mental problem solving. Boredom is not the enemy. Boredom is where creativity and independence grow. If I had to summarize parenting in 2026 in one word, it would be intentional. Intentional about technology, intentional about emotional growth, and intentional about structure and freedom. None of us are going to do this perfectly. I'm definitely not. But small, consistent choices add up, and those equal results not only for us, but for our kids. We need a confident, intelligent social generation to help correct us. Right now, I feel like our society and technology has been off kilter for a little while. But if we are intentional about raising our kids to be good humans, then we're going to be okay. Well, that's everything that I have for the Secure Family Podcast for today. Thank you, friend, for listening. Take back your privacy and personal data with help from Delete Me. Get 20% off a privacy plan when using the code DAD at checkout. Delete Me is the official data removal service of the Secure Dad. If you enjoyed this episode or learned something new today, I'd be grateful if you would follow the show, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or leave a 5-star review. The best way to keep up with the Secure Dad is in your inbox. Social media algorithms can bury accounts like mine. So if you want to know the latest on keeping your family safe, use the link in the show notes to sign up for emails from the Secure Dad. I'm Andy Murphy, reminding you that our safety is our own responsibility.